We continue our story with Optimus driving through the ruined, city of New York, going all the way to the Eternal Night Castle, or Dracula's Castle, if you will. And it's been a quiet ride, too quiet, mind you. And Optimus hasn't said anything. This is, kind of out of the ordinary for everyone else, and it's a little bit awkward. And keep in mind, the team with him is Adam Warlock, Captain America, Thor, Thing, and Squirrel Girl, and they all kind of like nudging each other, somebody to say something. And Adam Warlock, being the empath, is still being able to sense because Optimus does have, some organic properties. He asks Optimus what's really eating at him, what's been holding him, and, well, I guess holding Grimlock back as well. To which Optimus simply states that it's his fault. He made the wrong choice, the wrong decision. To which Adam's like, what do you mean? What choice could have cost you and one of your strongest soldiers, or your strongest lieutenant, I should say, this much turmoil? And it's unnatural. To which Optimus simply states, long ago when Ultron came to Cybertron, I thought we could stop him. I didn't expect the Decepticons to join forces with them initially. And after hearing that they were all corrupted pretty easily, I thought it was just simply a matter of freeing them to do the right thing. To which Adam's like, okay, well, isn't that what you pretty much thought of it? To which Octopus was like, yeah, I thought about that. And Grimlock advised me to just simply eliminate them. They're gone, they're corrupt. But when he received a transmission from Megatron, it was one of hope. Megatron stating that he's got a plan to take out Ultron, and he needs their help in order to do so. Grimlock knew something was off about this, but Optimus thought it was actually the best idea. His old friend coming to his side, and they would have won the war. They would have actually been able to find true peace through a common enemy. But little did he know, Megatron actually wanted this. A fully loyal and capable, obedient army under his command. And Ultron gave that to him. Megatron set up the entirety of the Autobot forces, their strongest forces, mind you, to be overrun by Ultron. And then his virus spread throughout of Iacon. Even loyal soldiers like Soundwave were corrupted by Ultron. And Megatron simply allowed it. No hesitation, no remorse. They fought tooth and nail to get out of there. And their relationship from then on was shattered, with Grimlock simply stating every single time they were together, I told you so. I told you it was a trap, and you didn't listen to me. You never listened when the Decepticon War started. You never listened to when this situation happened. To which Cap tries to reason with him, saying that, well, you thought your friend came around, your brother came around. He was like, Optimus simply states no. He should have known better. He was far too hopeful, far too naive, and blinded by the prospect of a prosperous future that he didn't ever consider what was right in front of him. To which Captain America simply states, I I don't know what to say to that. To which Optimus simply states, neither do I. I got my own planet taken over. My people's sparks ripped away. Their freedom ripped away. And all because I trusted the man, the bot I called brother. To which Captain America goes into his own experiences. He had the same thing with Bucky, albeit he was mind controlled by Hydra. Thor gives his own experiences with Loki. But Optimus simply states one thing. His relationship with Grimlock is different. They are brothers in a sense, but this is a relationship that has been destroyed by multitude of decisions and a multitude of his own actions. But this is where they arrive at the castle of the Eternal Night, and Optimus simply states, this conversation is over. Back at the Baxter building, the remaining heroes of Human Torch, Mr. Fantastic, Moon Knight, Scarlet Witch, and Invisible Woman are all making preparations here. They've established a focal point to where other heroes and stuff can teleport in, and making sure any citizens that also do come back to Earth are actually in a safe point before anything happens. And this is where we actually see Herbie working on, the focal point and stuff like that. We see Sue helping him out, Reed as well as there. And this is where we see on top of the building Scarlet Witch preparing a spell. What she's going to do is actually reverse everything, or at least control it, to where the vampires can actually have something of their own. They don't need the planet, no, but they should have their own nation, at least being considerate of it. And considering how powerful she is with magic, she is capable of doing this quite casually. Meanwhile, the vampires are getting whooped out and body slammed by a Moon Knight. Obviously, you guys are gonna hear the moon haunts you down there, and yeah, he's still wondering when he's gonna get his $5 from Dracula. Yeah, it's just these vampires right now are the ones that are just relieving the stress of his fists. Him just beating them down mercilessly. It gets the blood flowing. It gets the circulation going and stuff like that there. But hey, Moon Knight's out there just beating up vampires and hoping he can get his $5 back from Dracula. Then next off we have Ratatonsker. Oh, sorry, we pan over to Ratatonsker, held by the chains of the first firmament. And this is where obviously the team that was going there arrives. Optimus, Adam Warlock, and Captain America. Now, the team does arrive and they bust in, taking out a multitude of vampires. I mean, come on now. They are simply just fodder altogether. I'm kind of surprised that we do have the Marvel Zombies PvE, but we don't have a vampire one. Not gonna lie, kind of wrong in my opinion. But speaking of the situation, Captain America is able to blaze through the vampires and then strikes his shield at the chains. But these are the chains of the first firmament. A chain that can hold eternity itself. So these are going to break easy. Even with a vibranium, adamantium, holographic shield, it's not going to break that easy, Cap. But this is where Shikla appears, finding their time amusing. And Optimus isn't one to play around here. He immediately takes out his ion blaster and begins trying to blast her everything. She simply dodges, stating, "Wow, aren't you quite the angry one?" To which Optimus simply states, "Begone, demon." And then he swings his Energon axe at her. However, she weaves, blocks, and even pushes him back. But this is where she ultimately chains him up and simply states, now, I understand I'm usually the monster that guards her, but today I feel like you could be very desirable, if you will. You see, I'm done with Dracula's games. He has no ambition, no role in the monster kingdom anymore. But this is where Adam Warlock tries to intervene, trying to free Optimus from it. However, Shikla simply states, "Wow, now don't you have a dark side to you? You're so pure, so perfect. But let's corrupt that, shall we?" And with a wave of her hand, Adam Warlock begins to feel pain. His body doesn't contort in a way that it should. But again, he goes into his more corrupted persona, that being Magus. And Magus begins attacking Captain America on Shikla's orders. And Cap's like, "No, Adam, come on, you gotta break this." And well, unfortunately, it doesn't stick. Magus is fully under her control, fully under her corruption. So Cap doesn't really have much of a choice. He gets out his shield and actually blocks multiple energy blasts, not even aimed to heal, aimed to harm. And this is where Magus then closes the distance and actually begins wailing on Captain America. But he gets his shield up just in time to block some of the more lethal strikes altogether. And as he does that, Cap actually begins to work a way around Adam Warlock, if you will. He lands gut shots, face shots, body shots. You guys get what I mean. He's actually beginning to outskill him. Meanwhile, Shikla has worked her magic with Optimus. Think of this as like the quintessence, if you will. But she simply knows what Optimus wants. And simply states she can give him the power to beat Ultron. Give him the power he needs. All he has to do is one thing for her. And Optimus simply states, what's that? Kill Dracula and I'll be on my way. To which Optimus' eyes glow purple as he accepts the deal. And Shikla puts the dark force in him. Its full totality. Something that Dracula couldn't even hope to withstand itself. And so Optimus then opens his hand and draws the corruptive energy out of Adam Warlock, or Magus, if you will. And when he does that, he goes right back to normal. But Adam sees Optimus. He's not the person he thought he was. He's different, stronger, faster, tougher, and now aligned with the Dark Force. Yes, the Dark Force can be used for good, but again, Optimus is very different in terms of his mindset, in terms of his personality. And this is where he simply asks his friends, are you okay? And Cap is obviously pretty hostile about this. I mean, it's the Dark Force users. I mean, even Cloak is trustworthy. Even though Cloak is trustworthy, Optimus just really hasn't been himself. And Cap even asks Shikla, why? Why him? And Shikla simply states, because he has the power to wield it, control it, and I'd like to see where this goes. Ta-ta now, and she teleports out, with Optimus simply stating, alright everyone, let's end Dracula's reign once and for all. However, Cap in the back of his mind thinks to himself, is this really good for him? Giving him this dark and usually overwhelming power? Most of the Dark Force users have a small portion of it, but Optimus, he's got more than he expected. And this is where we pan over to, well, Blade being held in chains. The sounds of vampire bodies dropping left and right as their skulls are splattered, and they're basically getting hit with nuts in the face. And so this is where Doreen basically busts through the castle and simply states, hey Eric, seems like you got yourself a little tied up there. To which Thing is like, come on now Doreen, we really don't have time for jokes here. And then smashes the chains of Blade. Basically, Blade would definitely be kept in like casual chains here. Oh, by the way, Optimus does use the Dark Force to free Ratatonsker, by the way. So that kind of completes their plan. And this is where Thor actually gives Blade his gear, such as his shades and his regular Atlantean steel sword. Yes, I actually found out about that. And this is where Thor simply asks them, is everyone ready to go? And, well, everyone confirms that they are. This is where he even contacts Captain America, and they actually state that, yeah, they're ready to go. They have Ratatonsker, but Optimus has a different feel about him. To which Squirrel goes like, oh, well, is he evil? To which Cap is like, no, I hope not. He's just really not himself. And this is where Blade simply states, look, if we're actually done with this negotiations, can we actually go and kill some vampires? And this is where Thor actually makes another exit within Blade's prison and simply states, indeed, let us end Dracula once and for all. And that's where we're going to leave it off here, you guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share it to your friends. And the next part will be Dark God Optimus versus King Dracula.